Not good enough for justice, but okay for human settlements. Corrupt accused Thabazimbi gets a new portfolio in the president's mini cabinet reshuffle. Selling but not selling off our Springboks to the Americans. What does this deal mean for South African rugby? Namibia gets its first woman president, and Nandi-Ndaitwah takes up the post. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
This is Eyewitness News.
Baffling. Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet reshuffle. That's what Freedom Under Law thinks of the president's moves last night. And the EFF has condemned Ramaphosa's decision to move Justice Minister Thabazimbi to the Human Settlements portfolio. They've described the announcement as unnecessary musical chairs of corrupt and incompetent ministers and deputy ministers. Executive Director of Justice Under Law, Judith February, says irrespective of which ministry Similani heads up, her credibility will continue to be undermined for as long as the allegations of corruption against her are not fully addressed.
We also note that the President's statement regarding the reshuffle last night came without any proper justification, nor did it provide any details of the report regarding Ms. Similani's conduct, which the President has had in his possession since mid-September.
Ramaphosa effected 4 changes to the executive, with the most notable being a swapping of Ministers of Justice and Human Settlements. Other changes include swapping around former Deputy Labour and Employment Minister Phumzile Mqina and Mineral Resources Judith Shabalala. February says Minister Memela-Khambu's lack of legal experience or the administration thereof is also concerning.
At a time when the justice system is under serious pressure and our institutions are struggling to repurpose themselves after a decade of state capture, the new minister will need to do much to prove that she's up to the task.
More bodies have been pulled to the surface at the Stilfontein mine shaft in Northwest Province. Hundreds of illegal miners remain underground. The High Court has ruled that humanitarian aid should be allowed to the miners after police stopped food and water from going down.
2 foreign nationals are among 6 Zama Zamas who have been rescued from an abandoned mine in Sabie, Mpumalanga. A joint operation to rescue more than 100 trapped Zama Zamas is currently underway after the group was discovered by private security in the area yesterday. According to police, the rescued illegal miners claim they were captured and forced to mine for gold. Provincial Police spokesperson Donald Mhluli.
We also got information that these 150 that are still underground, they were forced to mine under these guys that are armed. Remember, last week we had an encounter where our members as well as security officials were attacked, whereby warrant officer was injured from K9 unit, and there were 3 alleged illegal miners that were.
A nod towards South Africa's top cops. Police officers who go above and beyond their call of duty have been honoured by Western Cape senior management at an award ceremony in Cape Town. 6 members have been awarded Silver Cross medals for their bravery in the line of duty. Sergeant Samuel Pitt was one of the police officers who managed to save a family of 3 whose home was washed away in the 2021 floods in Swellendam.
It's nice to be recognized, acknowledged, but at the time we don't do it for the medal though. So yeah, I'm feeling a sense of gratitude, grateful.
1 kilometer.
Action SA says vulnerable and poor South Africans are being used to register Spaza shops on behalf of foreign nationals. Last month, government opened a 21-day window for all Spaza shops in the country to be officially recognised within their local municipality. Today, Action SA members marched to the Johannesburg Municipality Satellite Office in Jabulani, Soweto, calling for Spaza shops to be reserved only for locals.
That process is called fronting. We know that our people are being used. We know that particularly vulnerable people, poor people, some of them opportunists, are being used to front for people who should not be able to register Spaza shops. You know that the law says if you are going to be investing as a foreign nationals, you must invest no less than 5 million rand. You must also employ no less than 60% of your workforce. We're not seeing that on the ground.
SASSA CEO memela-khambula has been placed on precautionary suspension Memela-Khambula's suspension follows issues raised by the Office of the Public Protector about 3 years ago. SASSA spokesperson Paseka Letsatsi says previous ministers serving in the portfolio failed to act on inquiries by the Public Protector's Office.
Then the ministerial arrived at the conclusion that a proper investigation has to be made. It's in relation to the processes of her appointment. There are certain things which are asked by the public protector, which if you look at them, there's something procedural which was not followed or complied with.
Political parties contesting a by-election in Thabazimbi have deployed some of their top leaders to Limpopo in a bid to get voters. The council was dissolved due to political infighting between the DA and the ANC. Both parties had parallel governments in the municipality, with each claiming to be the legitimate administration. Voters in the municipality have queued at several voting stations to cast their ballots.
Thabazimbi is very much important. You'd remember this is also a mining town. It's one of those, towns that are very much economically active, not only for the province but for the whole country. And therefore, it is important that its government needs to be running as efficiently as possible.
South African Rugby Union insists it won't be selling off the national team, the Springboks, through a 1.3 billion rand private equity deal to an American sports company. SARU boss Mark Alexander says if more money is not urgently injected into the sport, professional rugby will collapse. But it's steered clear of sharing too many intricate details about the deal, saying it's subject to confidentiality and non-disclosure.
For weeks, reports of a $75 million equity deal with the Ackley Sports Group for a 20% stake in SA Rugby has sparked controversy within the fraternity. SA Rugby boss Mark Alexander says the deal is not tantamount to selling off the Springbok brand and won't impact on decision-making. The money, he says, will be ploughed into the country's cash-strapped provincial unions.
All that's happening here, we're licensing our IP to the new company. We're not selling the IP, so we haven't sold South African rugby or the IP.
SARSA CEO Rian Oberholzer says the union won't be able to sustain its Rugby World Cup success if it doesn't generate more income.
The programs that we fund and that we need to fund need more money than what we can generate at this moment in time.
Provincial rugby unions are expected to vote on the deal on Friday. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Namibia has a woman president. Vice President Nandi-Ndaitwah took more than 57% of ballots, followed by the candidate for the main opposition, Independent Patriots for Change, with 25.5%. Namibia's ruling SWAPO party was declared winner on Tuesday, last week's disputed elections. It's not going to be easy. The main opposition has already said it doesn't recognise the vote. Now, if you've never been able to find that lid of your Tupperware dish, time is running out to find a replacement. At the end of this year, Tupperware, Southern Africa, will stop making and distributing its much-loved containers. The ceasing of operations in Southern Africa forms part of the company's larger liquidation and restructuring strategy. The US-based company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in September due to declining sales. And we leave you with that. We'll see you for more again tomorrow.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.